What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Dice It Up. Ice is here with me, back from Florida. Good to see you, Ice. And we have some awesome guests from the Pick Up pod covering WNBA. We have Freddie Rivas and Cathryn Naiker.
Yes, you got it.
Woo! Look at that pronunciation. You're becoming a real broadcaster. Look at you.
This is why we practice beforehand. But would love for you to tell our audience just a little bit about your podcast, how you two met each other, and how you got into the WNBA. They are from Toronto, so I've never met a Canadian that wasn't nice. So I'm looking forward to this.
Wow, no pressure.
Yeah.
Well, we met doing we're both comedians here in Toronto. I do stand up and Freddie does more like sketch and improv and stuff, but we did a stand-up show together once at a bar in College Street. I remember this very well, Freddie. And our mutual friend Jordan Foisey introduced us, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you two love basketball." And then we kind of looked at each other like, oh, "We do?" And then we just kept talking.
That pretty much sums it up. And I had already I'd heard about Cathryn before because a Raptors podcast I run, I started with a friend, and he had told me before that we needed to get Cathryn as a guest because she was a hardcore basketball fan. So I was sort of, there are a lot of comedians that love basketball, but there's levels, and right away I was sort of like, okay, Cathryn's, she's pretty obsessed. So like we could just like talk for hours about basketball. And I think it sort of led to Cathryn suggesting that we start covering the W. And, we had wanted to do it for a long time. And, obviously like really desperately want a WNBA team in Toronto, but I think we were just sort of done waiting, and we wanted to talk about the league, even though we didn't have a team, which is it's been fun. It's been, I've never been able to relate to a league without sort of having like a team I'm rooting for. So it's been an experiment.
Yeah.
So do neither of you have teams? Do neither of you have you not picked a team in the W that you're like?
Oh, this is a great question because Freddie's a traitor, and I let him know it often. Yeah, so at the very beginning, I picked the Phoenix Mercury because I was just like, Diana Taurasi's cool. I like Skylar Diggins-Smith. Obviously, Brittany Griner's great. So I was like, I like this threesome. I'm gonna go with them. And then Freddie, he's been all over the place.
So I chose the Sky. And then that was our first year covering the league, and the Sky won the championship. So I sort of felt like, okay, I'm going to move on. Like I'm just going to pick a winner every year. And I really wanted to sort of watch Sylvia's last year intimately. So I decided to root for the Lynx, and they had a pretty bad year last year. And this year I was going to pick a new team again, but I decided like I can't just give up on the Lynx. So the Lynx are officially my team.
I love that. And they're probably closest in proximity, right? Am I getting that right? Geography
probably New York.
Oh man.
Or it could be Indiana too, right?
No, New York's way closer.
New
York or Chicago are the closest ones to Toronto.
I've never been to Toronto. I've been to Vancouver, but you can't choose the Liberty this year. Then it looks real bad, right?
No, that's why I felt like that was Chicago. Even I was like, I can't just be a front runner. You know what I mean? I got to like sort of root for a team that may or may not have championship expectations.
No, I mean Chicago was they upset the Sun, and then they upset Mercury were a lower seed. What a series for y'all.
Yeah, that was fun for us.
Yeah, it was big.
Oh God,
I think I might have stayed with this guy. I think I might have rocked with this guy. I also just am a huge fan of James Wade too. So I just feel like he's one of those coaches.
He's great
in the final every 3 or 4 years. Not that Syracuse won't. Not that the Minnesota Leaks don't have winning in their culture, but I probably would have stayed with this guy. But I hear you. I support the Lynx. I love Nafisa Collier. I think you can build a program around her. That's a choice. Yeah, and they got a lot of young talent. I think they're going to get in the next few years that are going to make some big jumps.
For sure. Yeah, we met. We were like fortunate enough to meet James Wade this year. and Cheryl Reeve. So we chatted with them both, and man, I remember saying to Cathryn, just like, it was my first time interacting with coaches, and they're just so charming and media savvy. Like I stutter, and I stuttered a bunch in like my questioning, and they were just like, "That's fine, we're good. We know what you're trying to say."
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, I've seen. I mean, definitely talked to James a few times, and then I've only seen Cheryl at the airport. And when I've seen her at the airport, I've never seen anybody walk with that much of a purpose. And I used to travel every week of my life for work, but I mean, it's like
you've got a lot of data.
Yeah.
You've observed a lot of people.
It's like she's walking fast to go sit down before her flight. It's like just mission goal oriented. I'm making my flight. I'm being on time, and I love that. So she's a good one to trust, and I would not be upset if they had Caitlin Clark on the roster next year. That'd be very sweet.
I'm down.
Yeah, that's huge, Freddie.
Yeah,
you didn't even consider that.
Yeah. Whoever they'll have some young, bright talent.
Or the hometown hero, Paige Beckers. Who knows?
For sure.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
they have a Canadian too in Carleton, so she's fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, and you kind of touched on it. I mean, what was it like? I mean, that's the first game ever in Canada, and I know it's sold out. I unfortunately didn't watch it. I tried to take the amount of time between women's college season and the WNBA to kind of step away and get my bearings back and pay attention to my wife and dog for a little bit. But tell me about the game. How fun was it? I've heard some people say it was like surreal just seeing all these people get lit for, female athletes in Canada. So I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Do you want to kick it off, Cathryn, or?
Sure. Yeah. Like, I think, obviously, like, the whole event was a huge success. Like you said, it was sold out and everything. But honestly, like, I've never really seen anything like it, in that, because it wasn't like a home team per se, like it was Chicago and the Lynx, right? They're doing a preseason game. It was really more just about celebrating like the league. And I've never been to a sporting event that was just so much pure positivity. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Because you're like, usually, like, when in sports, it's like you're rooting for a team. There's an element of stress to that, you know what I mean? Like, you're rooting for your team, you want them to win, you're sort of eager in anticipation. But this wasn't like that. I've never seen such a mass sea of like public positivity, if that makes sense, which is really what it was. Like, there were signs like on the Jumbotron, like, future season ticket holder, and people were like screaming and cheering for that. And like, at halftime, I went out to see if like there was like merch, and like all the merch had sold out of the stadium, at least in the lower bowl, by like the end of halftime. So even if you wanted a t-shirt, there wasn't any left, which is like, I've never seen anything like it. And I think this city understood that this was very much an audition for this city to get a team, right? Like, I think that's how everyone treated it. They were like, they are auditioning Toronto. They want to see what it's like. And people really, understood the assignment. So it was a very like unique sporting experience. Obviously, it was a great time. The game itself was like very slow going, and then it kind of picked up and was close at the end. But I mean, that's preseason basketball for you, right? Like, that's just kind of what it was. But I think it was really very positive all around. And, they've said Toronto's on a short list. We'll get to that later. But I think everyone was like, let's try and move up this list, and that's kind of what the event was really all about for me.
Love that.
I think Cathryn covered it well. I think particularly with the audition part, we've talked about on our pod so many times how folks from Toronto are sort of, they think that, we think we deserve a team. And, this was a moment where we needed to show out, and, the tickets sold out in minutes, and, it's like 21,000 or 20,000 people. So it was a pretty big deal. And, beyond that, it was just like a really electric environment. And like, Cathryn said too, like, with so much positivity, like my entire family was there. My mom was there. All my brothers were there, and we're sort of sitting in different spots. So, yeah, it felt good. And, I think for me and Cathryn in particular, it was our first time, first and only time, getting media access. So we were able to go to the OVO Center, which is
the practice center.
It's a practice center built by or
Drake.
with Drake for the Raptors,
Of course.
obviously, right? And so we were able to meet the meet the Lynx, meet the Sky, both coaches, and they were very, very giving with their time. And yeah, we had fun kind of joking about like Canada, and it was really, really a memorable experience. Got to go down to the court as well, and we even got to see Engelbert sort of give a big kind of press conference, which felt like a really special moment for the city and for for us in particular.
Yeah, she kills it with the buzzwords.
She does. She is very like, you could throw her in any boardroom and it's like, wow, this is like, she's flawless.
Yeah, like
I have a question for you guys.
Drips.
I have a question for you guys about if the team does come to Toronto, do they have to kind of be in conjunction with the Raptors? So what we see across the W, right, are some teams that work very well with the NBA team. For example, the Liberty and the Nets, right? They do things in conjunction together, same place. You think of one, you kind of are starting to think of the other. An example that doesn't do this is like Dallas. The Dallas Wings and the Dallas Mavs are completely separate. You have never once heard of a collaboration. We've never thought that a Dallas Mavs player was going to a W game and highlighting that. Meanwhile, while Kyrie and KD were in New York, they were at Liberty games, right? And kind of showing up. So do you feel like the team needs to be in conjunction with the Raptors and reach that support? Or do you think they should be separate entities?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I mean, for me, I personally, I think for Toronto, it would be a good idea for them to be synced up. I think, I mean, people who are Raptors fans are the people who want a WNBA team here. Like a lot of people in Toronto, like, I joke, like I call them like orange sweater fans. You know what I mean? Like they don't really watch the games, but they'll wear an orange hoodie, like, and that's like, like they're orange hoodie fans. And they're always like asking, like, I'm sure Freddie gets this all the time too. Like they're always asking me like, when are we getting a team? When are we getting a team? And I'm always like, watch the games. You know what I mean? Like watch the games. Like they're NBA fans who won a championship a few years ago and just think they want more and deserve more. But I think as it's called MLSE, which is Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. They own the Raptors. They own the Maple Leafs. They own our soccer team, the Toronto FC. They also own a lacrosse team called the Toronto Rock. So they have really good experience supporting large and smaller scale franchises. So I think it would be best under that umbrella. I think that's its best chance of succeeding. And I think there will be a lot of fan overlap as a result. But Freddie, curious to know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, what, well said. I agree. I think that's like the most seamless path, as far as like ownership goes. Although I did find it interesting that in Engelbert's presser, she did say that there were multiple ownership bids. So,
I mean, that's what she means by the short list, right? Like, does she mean multiple owners within Toronto?
In Toronto. So
interesting.
She insinuated that, there's MLSE, but, perhaps there's other groups that might want to, like be in charge of the team. So I think that gives the WNBA even more leverage when negotiating with Toronto, because maybe they could say like, hey, to make this more secure, we'd appreciate if MLSE worked with blank ownership, so there's even less chance of any kind of like financial failure.
Yeah,
that's a really good point.
Drake can't be that involved. Can't own 51%. Can't let
that go. He can own like 2% maybe.
Yeah. He talks a big game, but I don't know if he's got like ownership money. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he might. Well, I don't know what WNBA ownership money is.
I mean, I could see it, and just the Toronto Owls. Just I don't know how that sits with me.
I know they would be Owls too if he owned them for sure. They would be like the OVOs or something. Yeah, like he would definitely do something like that.
Drake.
Yeah. You know, he's been a Toronto mascot of sorts.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the general consensus is that he's a little obnoxious, I would say.
And I was listening to Paul George podcast the other day with Asia Wilson. She wants to meet him. Make it happen, Drake. Show your support.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, he's a big deal to players. I remember when he became affiliated with the Raptors, you know, there was a lot of sort of like dismissing I guess his star power, and almost immediately every game like the game would end and the players would basically be lining up to meet him.
Well,
at courtside. So
yeah, and that was also a huge deal because Toronto was an NBA joke, like you know, for so long, right? Like Toronto was an NBA punching.
We might be headed back there, but
no, we still have a championship. We're still like no. I don't think we'll be. Well, I don't think we'll be. You know, Charlotte Hornets territory, but I think like you know, we just weren't a big deal.
Nice stray at the Hornets. Sorry.
Facts are facts, and then. But I just don't think we'll be like that.
So he's kind of over it. If MJ is selling his ownership,
MJ's over it.
Yeah. If MJ's over it, we kind of all have to be over it. I feel like that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I was internally preparing for the stab at my Houston Rockets, and I'm thankful that didn't happen. I mean, I had the comments growing up, and that was sick. Like,
yeah, that would have been sick.
Yeah.
Went to games. Like my dad took us to games, took us to camps. Like I remember Cheryl Swoops blocking my shot in front of the entire camp, thinking that was like hilarious. Everyone laughed at me. But
hey,
what
she's like
that's not
the greatest ever.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, you're just like, damn. Oh.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah, absolutely. It was a blast. Sad when they, disbanded, but would love Houston to get a team back, but
I would love for Houston to get a team back, honestly. Like I'm kind of surprised that isn't a bigger conversation. I try to make an argument. I wrote an article. I don't write articles often, but I wrote an article that Teresa Weatherspoon's half-court shot is actually the greatest clutch shot of all time over Kawhi Leonard, which is controversial as a Torontonian. But I really pleaded my case. I was like, it was the finals. They were going to lose the entire championship if that shot. I mean, obviously they went on to lose, but they, the whole championship was on the line. She had no timeout. She had to dribble the ball across the whole court, or the whole like half court, right? Where like Kawhi Leonard, it's a tie game. He had a timeout. A play was drawn up for him to get to a spot, which he got to. It goes to overtime if he misses the shot. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Love Houston for the comments. Yeah.
That shot changed my life. That's the first time I ever cried watching sports. I was like 6. and it was also the first time I learned what a series was. My dad had to explain to me that like
you're getting another game.
They play again, but
yeah, it's not over.
I mean, like I got so wrapped up into Houston sports and then whatever, the University of Texas, anything. I mean, I love sports. They're the absolute best, but a 6-year-old crying over a WNBA finals game 2, I think is just, I mean, that's my villain origin story, I guess. So
honestly, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
That's great.
No wonder why you were like, you can't pick the Liberty. I don't care if they're geographically closest to you.
I support them now. I live in New York City. They're fun. The ownership does an amazing job. Like
that's true.
You hear what the players say about how they're treated, especially like when we get new players who come from other teams and they see the locker room. They're getting smoothies. Life is good.
Well, speaking of Weatherspoon, I hope she gets another coaching job.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to. I mean, I love how y'all have your weekly segments on your pod. You do the badass of the week, which I feel like y'all pick the best player, like best performance.
It's like a player of the week.
Yeah, I like to go more ironic with it. Like,
sure.
Like Ice and I talked about like trying to figure out, a dog of the week, like just someone who has that dog in him and is ruthless, etc. But so thinking of a badass in the terms of those lenses, like players you want in case there's like a fight, for an example. I just want to
Oh
get
man,
one.
Jalen Rose had a term for this, like your top
Mm.
5 like alleyway guys or something like that.
Yeah. Like meet me
Yeah.
outside. 100%.
Yeah, something like that.
I want to know the one player that fits that mold for each of you. I want to go first though, because I'm going to say the player that like constantly intimidates me, even when she smiles. I love her. I love watching her play. But Ice, you know who I'm about to pick, right?
I know, because you stole mine, because that's who I would have picked too. Go ahead, though. Another one.
All right. No, you take it. You take it, because I can come up with something.
No, go. You go. You go.
All right. Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah.
My God. Scary. So in control. Just if I went to take a charge like I used to in Division III college, I don't think I'd get up from that, you know? Like, no way.
100%. AT smile is definitely like, yeah, like see me outside. Even I think the best one is to referees. You have to look at her after they call a foul she doesn't agree with, which is like every foul. But just the smile she gives referees, like that. If I was ref, I'd be the reason why, like, I'm calling a Sun game. Like, let me make sure the police escort is there. Like, let me make sure I'm good getting to and from. That's a good one.
Also,
Also,
she's been playing through like an injury for years now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her whole body's
like a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
Both of them. Yeah.
Well,
even
and I
in
don't
that
know,
though.
do they? I don't know if y'all knew. Ice did color for the Connecticut Sun last year, so she was like,
oh, amazing,
at Mohegan all the time. And I absolutely could have gone up to Ice and said, hey, like, you know, just introduce me, but not with Alyssa Thomas. I just like, you never meet your heroes type thing. I don't want that. I just want to be slightly intimidated for the rest of my life.
I think we need to start a GoFundMe for you to meet Thomas.
I want it.
I want to see it happen.
I don't know if money is the obstacle.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, one of those signing petition things. Yeah, not happening. I'm just going to keep watching her and hopefully influence enough media writers to vote for her for MVP and cash a huge bet, and that'd be great for me this year. But yeah, enough about AT and my pick. Ice, you have one?
100% Kalia Copper. Like 100%. That's a dog. I also know she's from Philly, and I know her personally, so I just know, like, if I needed help, she'd be like, yeah, no problem. Like, where you at? Where are we going? Where do you need? Kalia Copper. I just think, like, easy. Somebody be like, do you really want to fight her? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Most iconic photo of all time too, standing over.
Oh yeah. Honestly, even as someone who picked the Phoenix Mercury, I was like, I need that on a t-shirt. Like I need that on a t-shirt.
I've seen that on plenty of t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yes. It was also to the player who needed it the most. So like I love it too.
also that
it was great because like I remember hearing like you know, Sophie has farm strength a bunch, and like I feel like the caption or the like, you know, the text for that t-shirt should just be like farm strength ? Which is, you know, her pointing at Sophie.
I was so naive when I first heard this like farmer strength stuff. I was like, oh, she grew up on a farm. That's cute, I guess. And then I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Amazing. That's hilarious. Yep, that's my pick. Kalia is definitely my pick.
I feel like I'm going from just straight up video evidence. So I'm gonna do Courtney Williams. Because I think we've seen it, and and we've also met Courtney Williams, and I feel like Courtney has that smile too, where it's like if Courtney got hit, I feel like she'd just smile back at you, and you'd be like, I'm so sorry. Can I make this up to you, or should I run away? Like, what's gonna happen next?
You also stumbled in front of Courtney Williams.
I did. Yeah. It was pretty funny. I asked her if she was gonna.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I asked her if she was gonna be playing any point, and she was like, "I don't play point. Like I just shoot." And I was like, "True. So sorry."
Yeah, she lied. She's putting up so many assists.
I know. Well, she has been playing a bunch of lead guard.
You put that nugget in her head. Which is crazy.
I mean, like with Courtney comes her dad.
Her dad. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Courtney
that.
becomes her dad. Well, that's really a 2-for-1 because 100%.
Yeah.
If Courtney's going, her dad is there at
Yes,
2 steps
yes,
behind.
yes.
Like, you need
yes.
help?
Yeah, it's a family affair.
Yeah, 100%. That might be the best pick. That's a good one. Kat, what you got?
I also, well, I had Courtney Williams on my list, but I knew Freddie would take her. So I think you all have some really great picks, but I'm gonna go with Kelsey Plum. I think
Ooh,
Kelsey Plum
dog.
would be there for me in an alleyway. I really do. I think she would be there for me. I think she'd come through. I don't think she's number
love that.
one, but considering who's left on the board, I really think she'd be there for me.
I mean, she's never afraid to take the shot. She's as confident as anybody. At All-Star last year, on the first night, I was like, "Hey, 3-point contest tomorrow. I'm betting on you. Am I dumb?" She's like, "Absolutely not. I'm winning it." I think she got dead last, but I loved the confidence. Don't regret that bet for a second. Great pick. All right. Do you want to do? I mean, I assume we have some listeners and followers up in Canada, but want to throw out some bench start cut games real quick. 3 of them. I picked out who's on each. I think they're very hard to do. But Ice, I want you to start with the first. So Freddie and Cathryn, get ready for these. They're great. They're not just athletes. There's a few.
I love it.
So Ice, kick us off.
Okay. I'm gonna start with W players. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, we're gonna start with the W, and then we'll get to our celebrities later. So we've got Bridget Carlton, Natalie Conway, and Kia Nurse. Okay.
Okay, I'll go. Wait, am I going
I'm
first?
so lost. I'm so sorry.
Oh, so it's like you know the game Mary F.
Oh
Bill?
yeah. Okay,
Like
I'm
bench
sorry.
start cut. We're keeping it clean here.
Thank you.
Part.
So sorry. I knew
No
that,
worries.
and then I forgot. I'm back. I'm all the way back.
You're good. Okay, Freddie. So I gave you. That's our 3. That's our 3, right? Bridget Carlton, Natalie Conway, Kia Nurse. Bench start.
The Canadians.
I'm gonna go start Nurse.
Ooh.
Okay.
Bench Carlton, and cut Achanwa.
Because she's on maternity leave. God, Freddie. God,
discrimination.
You can't do that.
The dude in the podcast.
No, I would do the same.
I think that's also my answer, but also like Canada is attempting Olympic basketball. Yeah. I say that as nicely as I can. Canada's attempting Olympic level basketball, and Kia leads those teams. She does. She's the leader. So yeah, that's why I agree with that order. But when Natalie Achanwa is back, maybe I'd flip that.
I mean, I remember watching them play at the FIBA World Cup last summer, and Canada looked good. Canada had some bright spots. I think they ended up losing to like Australia or something, but it was cool to see Bridget like go off and take a lot of shots and do more than just spot up and shoot threes, which she does really well for the Lynx. But yeah, all right. So let's get into some celebs. I hope they're Canadian.
I love this already.
One of my all-time favorite human beings I've ever watched on screen, Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, also like a gem. And then funny guy, Seth Rogen. It's tough.
Ooh, that is tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
Cathryn, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my order right. So it's hold on. Who am I benching? Who am I
starting? Who you're
starting?
cutting?
And who am I cutting?
Lucky we didn't.
This isn't my favorite. I'm gonna start Reynolds.
Ooh,
because I think he's the most versatile.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. That was mine off the bat. But
I'm gonna bench Rachel, and I'm gonna cut Seth.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I just want to say Rachel McAdams' little cameo on Little Dicky Show, Dave, fantastic.
Also changed your life.
Showed up her eye. She was amazing in it, and in all cumulative of 4 minutes or whatever. But I loved her. But yeah, I get that. I get that.
Okay. I was trying to make she's gonna make fetch happen on my team kind of joke, but it wasn't fully there. It wasn't fully there.
People forget. People forget she was in Mean Girls. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Freddie, what you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna be a little comedy bias here. I'm gonna start Seth.
Ooh.
And also he's a big part of Freaks and Geeks, one of my favorite shows. So
classic.
And
I never got into that show.
I'm going to it's great. Judd Apatow. Also let me do this one's hard. I'm actually going to I'm gonna bench Rachel, and I'm gonna cut Ryan Reynolds.
We're both benching Rachel.
I just want to see my girl get some spotlight. That's
fine. I'm hurting now.
Okay. I mean, y'all are from Canada. You would know better, so I just need to level set my expectations. Okay. All right. So if Toronto, the city, was given a WNBA franchise, let's not say the Owls, is there already talks of what a mascot would be?
Freddie, you go first.
So I love this question, and I've been thinking about it forever. And so the first ever NBA game or in NBA history was between the New York Knicks and the Toronto Huskies. So first ever game. But the Huskies, I forget where they play. Is it Connecticut?
UConn.
Or UConn, right? Yeah. So I think it's already because of a branding thing, you can't go Huskies. And one of Toronto's nicknames, it's an older nickname, is the Big Smoke. So I'm just gonna go way out there, and the mascot's gonna be smoke in some manifestation. So it's gonna be how Orlando Magic is stuff the Magic Dragon. You're kind of what is that? That's my vibe.
Wow.
I want to be an unrecognizable.
The Toronto Smoke.
That's right.
Yo, honestly, maybe this is just me being supportive. I'm not against it. I feel like the Orlando Magic is a little dumb because it's the Magic,
and so many names are dumb.
Indiana Fever.
100%.
Oh, we've gone off about Indiana Fever being a terrible name.
Oh, yes, that too. First of all, have you seen the mascot? It's I'm confused on even how it connects. Anyway,
in these.
Yeah, the smoke is lit. I don't know what the mascot should look like. Essentially,
yeah, me either.
But you don't want the smoke. That's easy tagline right there.
Exactly. That reminds me of.
You don't want the smoke.
Did you ever watch Lost?
Yeah, the smoke monster.
There's this big smoke monster in the show Lost. Anyway, it was just a black thing that made noise.
Maybe it's just a big cigarette butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Toronto's not known for that.
There you go. Have you ever seen The Mist? Toronto Mist? No.
Yeah, there we go.
Made of the mist.
There you go.
But you know
what? Brainstorming here.
That's too close to the storm. I feel like storm and mist.
Storm.
That is true.
Yeah. Exit mist. I'm with the smoke. I'm with the Toronto smoke. It's up. I love it.
Woo.
Catherine's no, y'all are crazy. She doesn't like this side of the screen right now. She's no.
I'm not thrilled with the idea, but it's a very Freddie Rivas idea. You know what I mean? It's very Freddie.
We co-sign Freddie Rivas' ideas.
Yeah. So for me, this is controversial. I have a feeling that maybe people won't agree with me. But the thing is the Toronto Raptors, it's so silly and stupid that we named our team after a dinosaur. I don't even think there were dinosaurs in this part of the world, even when there were dinosaurs. You know what I mean? We don't we're not constantly finding fossils or anything. It's actually ridiculous that we were. It's only because of Jurassic Park.
You're not finding fossils?
Yeah, maybe in your
Yeah.
neighborhood, Freddie, you've got some fossils, but not where I'm at. But but now it's like so iconic and fun and ridiculous that I want to double down and have another dinosaur. Okay, so I want to be the T-Rexes.
It just doesn't roll off the tongue though.
It doesn't. It's too long.
What other dinosaur then?
I know. I wish I could think of one. I used to be obsessed as a kid.
The pterodactyls.
That such a long name. It'd be hard to spell.
It's so
all the time.
long. The T-Rexes is not long.
Man,
But I want another dinosaur.
Yeah.
I want to double down on it because it's so silly that I just feel like we have to keep it going. I don't want it to be this like Canadiana thing, like the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I
don't want that.
I could not come up with anything. Moose was my best guess, and I don't even know if they're a moose.
I don't want to be a moose.
Canada.
Nobody wants to be a moose.
There's moose in Canada, just not anywhere near Toronto.
What about steal the Grizzlies and bring that?
Just steal, yeah. I'm down with just stealing a team's name.
Wait, I got to do more research on Toronto wildlife.
See, I knew people Canada wouldn't. They're raccoons. That's our wildlife is raccoons.
The trash pandas.
The trash pandas. The Toronto trash pandas.
Honestly, I mean,
we could embrace the raccoon. I think people would actually be very down for that if we embrace the raccoon.
I mean, we have a guy at the Liberty Games who dresses up in a full Statue of Liberty. Just imagine the fans with the raccoon paint, just maybe some tails.
It could be the Toronto Towers because we have the CN Tower, which used to be the tallest building in the world. Yeah,
it's one tower.
Yeah, or just what about the Toronto Tower?
No, I hate it.
Yeah, I'm sticking with smoke.
We're gonna workshop this. We'll workshop it and come back to it.
Google dinosaur, like other types of dinosaurs, but like I'm not getting
flow.
Yeah,
maybe we need
long. Like,
the Spinosaurus.
I blame whoever discovered dinosaurs. How dare you have these long names?
Yeah,
awful.
I'm with you. It looks like the smoke is gonna be it, Freddie. It looks like the smoke is gonna be it.
Yeah. You don't want that smoke.
I mean, I definitely would nominate the Pickup Pod for the activation of just to be on that campaign team of making these types of decisions. They're strategic decisions. You're shaping the culture of Toronto women's basketball. So hopefully 100%. That ends up happening.
We'll come up with a bunch and then we'll do a poll. We'll make it public.
Yeah.
Where there's
we won't leave it just up to us. Yeah.
Come on, where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's go.
You can do so much with smoke. Like it's not going to be that there's not things to build on. It's just going to be like, do you want to be the smoke? Like
I just can't picture the mascot. That's the thing. I cannot picture the mascot.
Yeah.
But Freddie, I like how much you've doubled down on it.
Yeah.
More than I have on dinosaurs. I'm like you in the Chicago sky right now.
I mean, smoking cigars after you win a championship at home will hit different if they are named the Smoke. But that's a pipe dream. We'll see. I may or may not do that in the Liberty win one if I don't get caught. Okay, last question before we wrap up here. You all are both comedians, entertainers. I would love to see a WNBA player featured on Saturday Night Live. I think that is long overdue. I think we have some quite entertaining players. They may have been answers from previous questions in this podcast, but would love to get your take on who you think has that it factor to maybe be a comic or host a show like Saturday Night Live.
I love this question. Well, Freddie, you can go first.
So this is hard because I feel like there's different things you got to bring to the table. So I think from just like a media savvy perspective, Candace is a really easy choice because she's so charming and like would be like perfect.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could see Candace could do like the Weekend Update.
Yes.
Yeah.
She could be that. She could be that girl.
Can I she's like already on TV though. Like we already
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so we don't like your answer, Freddie.
Okay, but I was setting it up because I have a backup. No, I have a backup.
Okay.
And it's not because she would be good. It's for my own viewing pleasure because I think it would be hilarious. I would love to see Diana Taurasi on SNL because I think that like if something went wrong, she might walk off set. Like I think
she would not handle it well. I don't think Diana Taurasi yes ands.
No, definitely not. And I think it would like she would just sort of like if someone else dropped. I think Diana would do it like she would work so hard at it. So like in rehearsals, I think that Diana would be like, yeah, just like fierce about it. So I think like bringing an intensity, I'm going with Taurasi, but it might not be very funny.
Little goat talk.
I mean, I didn't think, Peyton Manning would do well on there, and then they showed a skit of him throwing footballs at kids, and I think they could replicate that with Diana. So
yeah,
that's true.
I pick up that vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I hate to use the same person twice, but I'm going with Kelsey Plum because she's really funny in interviews. Like when she's getting interviewed, like during games and stuff, I just feel like she's quick on her feet, like in a witty way. And I think that's what you need on an SNL. So yeah, I actually do think she would be good on that show.
I could see it. I mean, she's definitely got the confidence, no stage fright at all. I am gonna go off that same team. I just think she, to me, is like the face of the league right now. But Asia Wilson, just radiates like vibes. Like
Asia's
like you want to hang out with her for a day. Yeah, I could
blunt rotation. Excuse me, I'll have to maybe cut
that. You should have asked us that question.
I don't.
Dream blunt rotation.
We'll save that for your pod, maybe. But someone who I've fallen in love with this year, though, like low key, Dana Evans. I think she's just a little ball of joy. Little ball of joy. Can't get enough of her.
Yeah.
I mean, Courtney Williams too would probably be great on.
I was gonna say Courtney Williams is super funny as well.
Courtney would be.
She would really go off script. I think Courtney Williams is going off script every.
I could see her in the crowd talking to people. Then she'll start giving styling tips and like dress somebody from head to toe. Like it would be over.
Yeah.
My pick is Natasha Cloud. I think T Cloud is such a vibe. And I think she's so smooth. Like I just think she could talk to anybody, kind of get anybody. And she's a good job, like just being herself. Like I think every time you see her, she's completely authentic in what she's doing and how she is. She'll go live before games last year, kind of talk about, y'all, we got to play X, Y, and Z today. We need to do this, this, and this. But also like she's fire to play against. Like she's awesome. Like she just has good energy. I feel like I'd watch T Cloud.
Also, she is like just game. Like I feel like she could steal my wife for me. Like she could make me just hand over my ATM card, just that type of confidence.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's another team, all time. Hide your wife, hide your kids team.
Yes. Amazing. All right, this has been amazing. Love you guys. Go listen to the Pickup Pod. I've been catching up on some older episodes. Listen to this week's. At least I think it was this week's. But either way, y'all are awesome. Excited to keep following y'all's journey. Can't wait for y'all to get a team in Toronto. And thanks for hanging out and talking some WNBA with us.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, we're fans, and we appreciate you having us.
Awesome. Shout out to Toronto Smoke. Let's get it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's smoke, y'all.